All right. All right. All right. All right. Good evening, sir. The good Pastor John
Hey
Thompson.
man, how
How
you
are
doing?
you?
Man, I'm good. How about yourself? It's always
Pretty
good to see
good.
you.
Yeah,
That's my
likewise,
guy
sir.
right there.
Yeah, pretty good, man. So, like we had mentioned, last night, some of the activities today are continuations from our surge forward as we release the book. You say you love me, but till you respect me, and yeah, that's it. That's it. The books, and so yeah, I wanted to have more of a up close and personal sort of chat with you. So, because
Sure.
it's kind of people can hear us when we're talking collectively, but as a group. But sometimes people want to narrow in and kind of get an idea of who the author is, and a little bit of
Absolutely.
insight, kind of on a one-on-one type thing. So I thought
Absolutely makes perfect sense.
it'd be a good idea to kind of do some dialogue and deep dive into your chapter. Now, here's the twist. Pastor Thompson. Your initial chapter, as we discussed last night, was you. What's yours again?
Do you cover me?
Yeah, do you cover me?
Mhm.
But folks don't realize that there's another treat in the book. You have a bonus chapter that I wanted to tap into, which
Yeah,
I think,
man.
yeah,
Y'all,
which I
y'all,
think
y'all jumped on me kind of. Y'all broke me in pretty good for this being my first go round.
right. And hey, you know what? And you knocked them out quick and fast. You knocked them out. That's awesome, man. Yeah. So this other chapter you have is called "Nice Guys Finish Last." That's correct.
That's correct. Mhm.
Correct. Okay. So when you thought of this one, what grabbed, what took you and said, "Hey, I can lock in on this one and go with it."
Well, I'm gonna tell you, man, because I do a lot of premarital counseling.
Okay.
Uh, I mentioned that last night as well. Me and my wife, we're actually in a break right now. We're not doing any counseling right this moment. We're actually about to go into counseling some other couples in the very near future here. But as a part of that, you get to learn the various dynamics that it takes for a relationship to work.
Okay.
You get to learn a lot about people. Obviously, having my master's degree in ministry, you've studied a lot of counseling and you've done clinicals and pastoral and family and marital counseling and
Yeah.
things like that. So you've seen a lot and gained a lot of experience with it. And one thing that I've seen time and time again, even in just random surveys of people,
Yeah.
is that there seems to be a love for the nice guy, but not a liking for him.
Ooh. Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
it actually borders on pity, on
Wow.
sympathy for the
Wow.
nice guy. And no man wants to be pitied.
That's-
No man wants to be the object of sympathy.
yeah.
The guy wants to be, he wants to be respected. He doesn't want
Yeah.
to be pitied.
For sure.
And so you find that nice guys, the whole idea of nice guys finishing last, and obviously the first question becomes, okay, if nice guys finish last, then who finishes first?
Oh
Right.
wow. Wow.
Right. And here's the trick to it, right? The trick to it is, okay, well, it depends on the race you're running.
Okay. Okay.
If we're running a race of just dating, right? Of
Yeah.
just bagging and tagging women, right?
Wow. Okay.
Then the nice guy finishes last. But
Wow.
if a successful long-term marriage is the result, then nice guys finish first.
If he's
If
appreciated for being nice, if
that
he's
becomes the
appreciated
issue,
for being,
that
yeah,
becomes the issue. Because
yes,
now, because the nice guy, by his very nature, is
yeah,
going to be a little bit more affable than, say, a good man, and of course, better than the bad boy.
for sure,
And
for sure.
so he's the nice guy's got to be with a woman that understands his value and doesn't try to use his niceness as a weakness against him.
So, what type? So, just off the top of your head, because this right here opens up really wide. Because when you think about it like this, you said something key when you were like, so when we said if, so the nice guy works out well in the marriage scenario when he partners with someone, like you said, that appreciates him for being nice.
That's
the
right.
problem sometimes comes when sometimes
I know where you're going. I know where you're going.
if you take a person that's desiring strongly to be married, a woman, right? She's desiring strongly to marry, and she looks and she's like, oh, he's nice. Sometimes it makes the nice guy feel like he's not necessarily the choice, he's the default. And so sometimes
like he's the second choice.
Yes, and when you choose the default, a lot of times that default will be a good suitor in the moment. But sometimes when that desire arises again, even within covenant, the risk happens. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of testy. Yeah.
So the issue with that becomes this, and this is the case with most men and women, many men and women, many women. We know what we like, but we don't know what we should like.
Ooh, yeah.
And that becomes the problem.
Yeah.
You know, the bad boy is exciting. He's irreverent. He doesn't follow any rules. He don't take no mess from nobody. You know, he's passionate. He moves in his feelings. He's impulsive, and that's exciting. Yeah. But the bad boy doesn't raise children. The bad boy doesn't pay bills on time. The bad boy doesn't hold down a steady job and make sure that he comes home every night, you know, to make sure that you're taking care of. The bad boy is more focused on his own happiness than yours. And so you like the bad boy, but if you go with the bad boy, you get everything that comes with the bad boy. Well, the nice guy is gonna consider you. The nice guy is going to make sure that you're provided for, sometimes even before himself. He's going to make sure that your needs are provided for. And what he's looking for is a reciprocal relationship. Yeah. His logic is that if I invest in her, she'll invest in me. So he's got to get the right kind of woman that understands the reciprocal nature of that relationship. Right, and if he doesn't get her, then he's going to become a doormat to somebody that really doesn't care about him much at all.
Wow. And man, that's something. And it's like, this is so the narrative of today, because in so many words, the nice guy, and I'll use an example of how we see it carried out on a national level, but the nice guy today has been translated to the lame guy. So let's take a now, we don't know personally. I don't personally know Russell Wilson, right? But he gets a lot of flack for being a nice guy to his wife. He's a good guy. I mean, seemingly on the surface, we don't hear scandal. You know, you don't see, he got caught over here at the hotel. None of those things. So it seems like he's towing the line. But a lot of the onlookers and a lot of the guys and podcasters, they take shots at him all day, thinking, he's just this, that, and the other. And so I'm like, how do we get to this point where we don't appreciate decency?
Well, first of all, it's a couple of things. It's a couple of things that are a problem with how we look at Russell Wilson. Yeah. First issue with it is that we're trying to see inside of somebody else's marriage from the outside.
Okay.
That's the first problem. So we're looking from the outside saying, if I was him, it would be thus and so. You don't know what you would do with him. And if it were you, she probably wouldn't be with you. Wow. so it really wouldn't be a question. Yeah. And then the other thing we do is we look at what we consider to be Sierra's past relationship issues, dating Future, baby by Future, and then we equate, and then what we do is we juxtapose Future against Russell Wilson, right? And we say, well, Future wasn't taking no mess. Well, Future got 9 to 10 babies by 7 or 8 baby mamas,
right?
So how are we juxtaposing a guy with his wife and their children against a guy who's not married and babies all over the place? It's not even a fair comparison.
Wow.
You see? And so I think that that's part of the issue that we have. Now, here's the other thing. What if the way Ciara conducts herself is the way Russell Wilson wants her to conduct herself? Has anybody asked Russ what he thinks about things?
Yeah.
Or have we just imputed our thoughts onto Russ?
Pretty much. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Much.
So it's a whole lot of stuff that we don't know about it. We say, well, I won't take this and I won't take that and I won't take the other. Well, you won't have that opportunity.
Yeah.
You know?
He's in the marriage. Right.
He's in the marriage.
He's in the marriage. Yeah.
And it just, now don't get me wrong. Now let me go ahead and be a hypocrite for a second. Let me play hypocrite for a moment. Right. Say, you know, if I were Russ, would I allow certain things to happen? I probably would not.
Yeah.
But once again, I'm not Russ.
I'm not Russ. That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's good, man. Wow.
Yeah. And I think that's part of the issue, though, man, that we have with the idea of the nice guy. We think the nice guy is a simp.
That's it.
We think he's a chump, you know, and by definition, he is. Yeah. By our definition. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that he's wrong. Quite in many cases. Yeah. The bad boy, the guy that's tough, that's my way or the highway kind of guy.
Yeah.
Well, in many cases, you could be wrong too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, there's that juxtaposition that needs to be considered with the whole thing. I don't know how long Russell Wilson and Ciara have been married. I don't know all their business. I don't know how many kids they got between the two of them or anything like that. But from the outside looking in, we don't know enough to make any judgments.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Mm-hmm. And then, like you said about the comment about the stimp part, and it's just like, you know, it's just like nowadays. And what's even more disturbing is earlier when you said the bad guy isn't doing this, so he's not paying bills and he's not doing that. But what I have observed is a lot of women have a reserve for that. It's like they pull that reserve out because externally and action wise, he's what they still want. So I'll sacrifice, and that's okay. I'll pick up little so and so for the babysitter. You don't have to, knowing they want him to, but they give him a pass because he's who they want. You get what I'm saying? So it's
absolutely. And that frustration wears very thin in the not too distant future. You know, there's that old statement they say that women make rules for betas and break rules for alphas.
Ooh, that's good.
Right?
That's good.
And that's true in the short term.
Yeah,
that's true in the short term. Women make rules for guys that they think are soft or weak.
Yeah,
and they break rules for guys that they think are the bad boys or strong or whatever the case.
Worth the risk in their mind at the moment.
Exactly, worth the risk. Absolutely, and that's a very true. Don't get me wrong; it's a generality, but it's generally speaking very true. However, that doesn't age well.
Yeah,
and that's the problem. If we're looking at the idea of who's finishing last and who's finishing first, it depends on if we're running a sprint or a marathon.
Yeah.
If we're running a sprint, the bad boys finish first and the nice guys finish last. But if we're running a marathon, and by marathon, I'm talking about a marriage that's designed to last 20, 30, 40, 50 years, then the nice guys age better.
Wow, that's good stuff. Wow, we need to put that on a t-shirt. But yeah, I mean, it's just like, I'm telling you, because it's like nowadays, I guess what you just said is pretty much the icing on the cake. It's like, I think we're not thinking or dating or desiring mate-wise long-term. We're looking and lusting for the interim. And those characters work well in the interim because anybody with common sense know. I mean, anyone with common sense know if you're building something worth something, you're working hard to do this, you're buying a house. No one wants to be paired with somebody who you may wake up with a flashlight and a gun in the middle of the night getting arrested. I'm just using an example. You don't want to risk your empire or ride down the street and say, I just love how you protected me, and then get shot at. Oh, babe, look, this is so exciting. No one wants to really risk their life every day like that. But in the interim, it's fun. See,
Yeah.
it's exciting in the moment. Yeah, in the moment. Yeah.
Especially when you're young.
Yeah, yeah,
It's exciting, and you want that excitement. I get it. I get
yeah,
it. I'm just my argument is just very simple. It doesn't age well.
yeah. It
When
does.
you don't want to be moving from apartment to apartment in your 30s and 40s and 50s because your bad boy boyfriend won't hold down a job because he won't take any smack from the boss and he keeps getting fired.
Right, right,
You
right.
know, because the boss of man just like me, and he gonna talk to me with some respect. So I smacked him and lost my job. And now y'all got to move into your mama's basement. Go ahead with your bad boy.
It's like it's three categories of women out here. You have the women that are open and curious about the experience of that kind of man. Then you have the ones that are currently in it, and maybe they have a little bit of the good, bad, the numb. They're looking for ways to get out, or did I do the right decision? And then you have the women who have all the stories, the scars, and the experiences, and they are over it. And now they're on the other side of, listen, I just wanted somebody's going to respect me, treat me nice, like a woman, so and so, not going to beat upside my head, whatever those things that come with those relationships. That
will bypass the drama.
For sure.
That will bypass the drama. The hope that we have, particularly with women, as it relates to dating the bad boys, because it seems like as young women, that's what they want to gravitate toward. Seems like.
Yeah.
So if we go with that, the thought process is that we hope they learn quickly and they don't do too much damage to themselves in the process.
Yes, yeah.
Because here's what happens with the nice guys. His personality is what it is.
Yeah.
He's not going to become mean later in life. He's not going to become jaded. He's a nice guy at heart. Yeah. But he's just not going to deal with you.
Wow.
When you wake up and come to your senses and say, oh, I should have dated the guy that I had in my friend zone back in my teens and 20s. And now here I am in my mid to late 30s with 2 kids by 2 different baby daddies. Yeah. And now I need to pull him out of the friend zone. He's not coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's not coming out of the friend zone.
Especially if he witnessed the movie all along. If he witnessed all the steps, because what happens is the guy in the friend zone remains wishful and hopeful while he watches the movie. But after a while, he said, "Oh, he's like, okay, you know what? I gotta go. It's time to leave now." And he steps away. He shifts. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's time to move on. I've tried to be here for her. I'll still be her friend if that's what she wants. Yeah. But it won't go any farther than that. I'm gonna go ahead and try my luck with somebody else who's gonna respect and appreciate what I bring to the table.
Yeah, it's so deep, man, because it's like I've literally witnessed seeing people run. I guess I would say run for cover, and that cover would be the nice guy. They run for cover, but the minute, and it could be a horrific reason they ran over there, which makes sense. But then all of a sudden, the person get distracted, and the person is like, "Are you okay?" The good guy's like, "You're okay? What you doing?" He just won't stop calling my phone. I'm going to be right back. Okay, don't worry. I'm going to be all right. And they go right on back. It's the deepest thing. It's like, wow.
Well, and not to over spiritualize anything, but that's just a dog returning to his vomit. First Peter talks about that.
Yeah.
And so the good guy nurses you, the nice guy nurses you back to health. Yeah. Helps you to forget about the pain that you've experienced. Yeah. And once you forget about that pain that you've experienced, all of a sudden now you want to go back to what it was that wounded you in the first place. And because you're chasing a feeling. Yeah, you're chasing a feeling, and that is always going to put you in a bad spot. Always going to put you in a bad spot.
Yeah, we all, if anyone who is just humble enough to admit mistakes and experiences, one thing for sure is when you deal with bad, you come up with the residue of it. There's no way around it. There's like a residue associated with bad decisions, be that what it is, person, place, things, what have you. When we make bad choices, on the flip side of it, sometimes you can't determine how you're going to come out of it, whether it's 2, 3, 4, 5 kids, whatever, whether it's a bullet holes, a stab, your bad credit. I've heard it all. Been dragged through the mud. So it just depends. You never know.
Or just an inability to trust.
For sure. Oh, that's even worse.
Right. We can go to the ones with the bullet holes and all of that.
Yeah.
Or you just come out of it with an inability to recognize good treatment when you're getting it.
For sure.
Because you're so used to receiving bad treatment, good treatment seems foreign.
Looks foreign. Yeah.
That's the word, foreign to you. And so that becomes the part of that scarring, part of that residue that you were talking about, of those bad experiences. And so the challenge has to be to learn what to like. And to understand that just because we've got an appetite for something doesn't mean we should have an appetite for it. I love Twinkies.
Okay.
I love Twinkies. Twinkies don't love me, right?
All right.
They don't love me. They don't do me well. And so even though I love Twinkies and have a desire for Twinkies and want Twinkies, I need to bypass Twinkies because the effects that come along with Twinkies are going to wind me up in the hospital. Well, the same thing is true in our relationships. A woman may like this kind of guy or that kind of guy, and a man may like this kind of woman or that kind of woman. But look at the effects of that in your life in a real practical way. Are the effects of the choices that we're making getting us to the result that we say we want?
Wow. Well, that's the bottom line right there.
That's the bottom line. One of the things that I oftentimes ask people in counseling and things like that, we'll talk about things that are going on in their marriage. And I'll ask, one of the questions I'll ask them is, what brought you to me? Right.
Oh.
And so they'll tell me what the situation is. They'll tell me what they've been doing. And I'll just ask the question, well, how's that working for you? How's that working for you? And sometimes we have to have that really come to Jesus moment with what we've been doing to see if it's going to get us to where we actually want to go. Wow.
And it's the reality check. For sure. Yeah.
And that becomes the real thing behind it, man. But I think that in the context of the book, the bonus chapter, Nice Guys, finished last. We've got some really good juxtapositions in there. I juxtapose the nice guy with the bad guy, with the bad boy. I also juxtapose the nice guy with the good man.
Yeah.
Because there's a difference between the two of those as well.
Yeah.
A good man is a guy that'll still put his foot down.
Yeah, that's right. So he's solid. He's not going to, in other words, he's not going to necessarily let you maneuver him, take advantage.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He'll put his foot down, but he won't lay the smack down on you.
Right.
And so that's a good thing as well, because we all need checks in our relationships to make sure that we don't go too far and become our worst selves.
Yeah, it's been a lot in what you're saying now. There's been a whole lot of wrong conditioning, and for years people have become conditioned to a certain. You know how we talk about the scripture when you talk about how the conscious becoming sheared, right? So and so in this scenario, we have allowed ourselves in many cases to be treated in such an adverse way that it just has been normalized as the way you're supposed to be treated. Whether you're getting, sometimes I remember one time a person was asking me back when I was doing the little morning time show, they asked me a question and they said, I met this nice guy. He treats me well, this, that, and other, but I still love my daughter's father. She said his only downside is he likes to beat on me from time to time. And she made it normal.
Is that all?
She made it seem normal, but my point was, but in her mind, what came to mind is that she's afraid of the nice guy because it's uncharted territory. But she knows, even though her daughter's father is there, she knows what she's going to get from him. So she's almost willing to take that on rather than to take the risk for something better. You know what I'm saying? So
And there's a real thought process too, Charles, behind the idea that we develop an appetite for what we're fed.
Wow. Yeah.
Right. And so with that particular young lady, that particular situation, I would be interested to look back at her childhood and to see what she saw growing up as being acceptable.
Example.
You know,
an example.
to look and see what the relationships around her were like, and things like that as well. That makes her think. And I would love to see how she was treated by her father. That makes her think that she's not worth more than getting knocked upside her head.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, and so all of these things play a role in the relationship decisions we make and the outcomes that we live in.
Yeah. Wow. Man, this is some good stuff. I mean, it's like Pastor John said, those of you all who may have just tuned in, we're talking about nice guys finishing last. This is a bonus chapter in the book. You say you love me, but do you respect me? And so, we're talking about, because this particular chapter stood out to me even when I knew you were writing it, because I was thinking it is so prevalent. It might have should have been in the mainframe chapter. It is a prevalent one that is just, it's right there. And it's like the way I see nice guys positioned, it's like it's a oh, that would be nice, but right now I enjoy my risk. It's a nice notion, but right now I like this risk. I like the edginess of this. And so and here's the unfortunate part. And I'm not saying this is what necessarily women are doing, but this is the way men interpret it. When after you run down, now you're ready to be nice. You're ready to embrace nice. So that's where the problem comes. That's what it is.
That's really where the problem comes. In a couple of ways. One of the ways that becomes the problem, because let's be honest, ain't nobody here but me and you.
Okay. All right. All right.
Men's value increases as time goes on.
That's it. Wow.
From an earning standpoint, which matters. From a wisdom standpoint, when women marry men, they're marrying men hoping that they change.
Wow.
Men marry women hoping that they don't.
Wow. Ooh,
okay?
That's deep. Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Women marry us for our future. We marry them for their past. And so the hope is that we will grow and graduate together. However, if over the process of time, you've allowed a woman, now speaking from a woman to a man, that a woman has allowed herself to be damaged by bad relationship after bad relationship over and over again. And now in your 30s or your 40s or who knows when, I'm not saying you can't find love. I'm just saying that generally speaking, now when you come to the nice guy, you're giving him your leftovers.
Wow.
You're giving him your leftovers. This is one of the reasons I advocate marrying young. So before you have all those miles and years of bad relationship on you. Now, I think that marrying young should be done within certain confines. There are rules to it. Don't just get married at 22.
Yeah. Irresponsible.
Come along. Right, I got to be responsible. But the damage that happens over all these years, it really hinders the ability of a couple to bond together properly.
Wow.
Pair bonding and things like that as well. Sexual bonding and all of that kind of stuff. It all makes a difference.
Yeah. What them experiences you bring to the table either changes or enhances where you are with your person, depending on who you choose. Yeah, that's for sure.
Right. Well, you're right. And to your point, whether it enhances it or takes away from it, it changes it regardless.
Yeah, exactly. It takes on a whole nother complexity. And that's something, unfortunately, and I'm sure as a leader, by the time the counseling ends up on in your office to say, we're ready to get married, you're not always at the point to say, so all right, are we on the same page, wavelength here? We got some differences. That's not something you typically would ask. It's something they know. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So yeah.
Well, one of the questions I oftentimes ask, man, when I'm doing premarital counseling for a young couple, is I ask them, have they already put a down deposit on the venue?
Okay.
And oftentimes they say, yes, we have. And I say, oh, well, it really doesn't matter what happens in counseling then. You guys are going to do it anyway.
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah. Yeah.
Because you've already put your money, where a man's treasure is, there his heart is also. And so you've already put your money down. You're going to do it regardless of what comes out of this thing.
So it's just in other words, this is a bus stop on the way to the depot. But the difference is, you should come there and say, we're thinking of this, but we have not done anything yet because we're trying to discover whether or not this is the ideal thing for us. Exactly. Many people do that, though. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's get some, we've done postmarital counseling for couples that didn't do premarital counseling.
Oh.
Couples that have come to the church, or couples that we've been introduced to that were already married but never did any counseling.
Oh, wow.
And things like that. And so it's very interesting to see the various ways that different people approach their lifelong commitments.
Yeah.
And many of us do so in a very haphazard way.
Yes.
Oftentimes we take more time deciding what car to buy than who to marry.
We do. Ooh, because I think the difference is we allow our emotions and circumstances to do the choosing. Sure. Where if you're looking for a car or a house, you're looking at logic and your money to make sure that you do enough, that you clean your credit up enough. But we don't think about that with the life. Unfortunately,
you just assume it's going to work out.
Yeah, that's it. It's just like, well, I care about you. I sure don't want to lose you. So let's go on and do this. And that's just like, it's not enough. But yeah.
That is absolutely not enough.
That's more than that, for sure.
And one of the things that I'll tell couples, me and my wife, we've been married for 26 years now.
Okay.
And we got married young. But I oftentimes tell them, don't look at where we are now. Don't look at where we are now. You have to understand that we had a journey to take to get here as well. And so you have to understand all of the this is why it's not good to look at somebody else's relationship.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what's going on behind those closed doors.
Yeah. You're looking at the apparent fruit, but you haven't seen the journey of the vine, right? You're just looking at the fruit. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. And so that's the thing about it, though, man. But hopefully this book, Nice Guys Finish Last, can help men and women to at least understand some of the various dynamics that are at play as we juxtapose the nice guy against the good man, and then the nice guy against the bad boy as well.
Right. Well, man, I appreciate you. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I definitely appreciate you hopping on as one of the guys. I'm going to try to do this with most of the guys. May not get to all of it. I'm going to try to corral them as many as I can to get this together.
That's a lot of guys.
I know, but that's what you were fortunate to probably be by yourself. Some of the others may be in 2 and 3, just depending on how the schedules work out. So we'll work it out, though. But man, I appreciate it. And I'm glad we were able to finally link up in a project like this. And this is awesome.
This has been awesome, man. I got so many sparks flying in my head now. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's awesome. Then from here is on, the sky's the limit after this.
Hey, did you know that we reached bestseller already?
Yes, I heard today. Awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It just released yesterday.
Yeah, that's quick. Yeah, that was quick. That's
man, awesome. That is phenomenal. That's amazing. I'm taking all the credit for it now.
I know.
I told my wife I'm gonna change my phone number. And I'm not gonna give her the number. She got to go through my people.
Oh, now I got people now. Yeah, I'm on the bestseller. I got people.
I told her you got to call Charles and P Coffee to talk to me.
Right. Make an appointment. But yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Man, I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. And you guys have Bible study tonight? Do you guys have Bible study tonight?
Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, we do. In about 5 minutes.
All right. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you sacrificing. That's why I didn't want to hold you over too long. But thanks again, man. I'll definitely be in touch. We'll see each other again along these lines for sure. Absolutely. All right. Now. Take care now. All right. Okay, you too.